Hello everybody, welcome to another tutorial with the San Diego Futures Foundation, and today we're going to take a look at basic keyframing within After Effects. Keyframes are used anytime you want to create any type of animation or motion graphics within After Effects. You might have already come across keyframes if you're familiar with Premiere Pro. Premiere Pro uses keyframes within their audio and video effects applications, so you could have used these already. But keyframes within After Effects takes it to a whole new level. To begin, what we're going to do is have After Effects open already, and I'm going to create a new composition. A dialog box will open up, and what we're going to do is name our composition accordingly. Keyframes, and then we're going to set our video settings accordingly. Everything looks good here. 10 seconds is enough for me. If that's not enough, increase it if you need to. And once you're finished here, we're going to hit OK and our composition will be made. First thing we're going to do is import our elements that we're going to use to create this animation. The animation that we're going to create is a simple title sequence with our logo coming in from the side to the center and coming off screen. So what we're going to do first is import our company logo that we're going to use. If I double click on this box, the project box, a dialog box will open up, and here we're already on our desktop, and we're going to select our logo, and I'm going to hit open. The logo will be imported into After Effects and it's ready for use. Next, we're going to click on our logo and drag it to our timeline. The logo appears in the timeline, but it doesn't look very good with a black background. So what we're going to do is create a new solid as a background. So we're going to go up to Layer, New, Solid, and we're going to set the settings of our solid and rename it accordingly. So I want to name this BG for background. The width and height are the same as our composition. The color is a good enough white for me, so I'm going to hit OK, and I'm going to hit OK, and our solid gets put into our timeline. But as you can see, our logo is no longer there. Well, what's going on is our background solid is on top of our logo within the timeline, as you can see here. The timeline in After Effects works on a hierarchy system. So whatever's on top is on top. Whatever's on the bottom is on the bottom. So as you can see, our logo is on the bottom. So we're going to select our background and we're going to drag it beneath our logo. And now our logo is on top of a really nice white background. But next thing we're going to want to do is separate the two. So I'm going to go into my effects and presets and I'm going to search for drop shadow. Drop, is it in here? Right there, drop shadow. I want to highlight our logo, and now it's separated from the background somewhat, and let's just tweak with this to make it a little better. Let's make the distance around 3. Let's go one more. 2. That looks good. That looks good to me. The shadow adds a little depth to the logo and separates itself from the background. So now we're good. Now we're ready to start adding our keyframes. This is what we want to see when our keyframe comes into effect. I want my logo to appear right here where it is because it is fine there. That's where I want it to be when it comes in from the sides. So when working with keyframes, what we usually do is work backwards. We start with the effect we want it to end at, and we move to the beginning. So here we are with the logo right here, and I want to set a keyframe for this exact position. And I want this to be there around 1-2 seconds into our video. I want our logo to be right there. Actually, let's make that 1 second. So what we're going to do is select our logo, hit this drop down menu right here, and you have a drop down for the effects, which is the drop shadow that we just added, and a transform drop down menu for the logo itself. If we click on the transform, you have a bunch of settings that are available to you that can modify this logo. You have the anchor point, you have the position of the logo, you have the scale, the rotation, and even the opacity. All of these can be set with keyframes. So right here, if I want our logo to appear right here in the middle and stop right there and pause for us to get a look at it, I'm going to set a keyframe in its position by clicking on this stopwatch that's right next to each of these settings. By clicking on that stopwatch, a diamond option will appear next to it on the side, and in the timeline itself, you will find another square diamond that is hollowed out. This is a keyframe for our position. Right there, I have marked that exact position. But if we move the timeline around, nothing happens. It is still in that position. The position has not changed whatsoever. So what I mean by working backwards earlier is we set our position that we wanted to. Now we're going to go to the beginning. We're going to click on our logo, and we are dragging it to the side. As you can see, a new diamond has appeared in the timeline, marking the change in position once I let go. Once I let go, a new keyframe will have been made, and you can see in the composition window that a dotted line has appeared within the logo, showing the path that it's going to take. So if I drag this timeline, you can see our logo moving in to the middle, and then it's just going to stay there. So let's hit play. As you can see, our logo moves from the side to the middle, and it stops because that's where our last keyframe is. So what we're going to do now is we want the logo to move off screen. So around 2 seconds, I'm going to click on my logo, and I'm going to pull it off screen. And as you can see, a new keyframe has been made in the timeline represented by a diamond box in the position layer of the logo. So what we're going to do now is watch what we created. Whoa, that's not what we want. The logo went straight through the video. What's going on? That's not what we wanted. The video is supposed to pause right here in the middle, giving us a chance to read it, and then continuing on. So what we're going to do to fix this is we are going to add another keyframe that is the exact same keyframe as this middle one. So what we're going to do is go to this keyframe. We're going to hit Command Copy if you're on a Mac, or Control Copy if you're on a Windows. And what we're going to do is paste the keyframe right here. And now we will have some kind of pause within our timeline. So we hit play. As you can see, it made a little pause, but it is not long enough. So what we're going to do is highlight these two keyframes, and we're just going to drag this out. And what's that doing is re-timing the keyframes. The time between these are the same. It's just now it's a little bit longer. So what we're going to do is move it to the beginning and hit play. Comes in, pauses, moves out. That's exactly what we wanted. But it's still a little rocky, if you will. I feel like that beginning is way too short, so what we're going to do is highlight these three keyframes, and we're going to bring them in closer to make them quicker. So let's go to the beginning and hit play. That looks really good. That looks better. So now we have our logo coming in from the side, pausing, and then it goes out. I feel like this could be moved over just a tad bit. That was kind of quick, so let's try that again. Nice. This is exactly what we were trying to go for. So what you've noticed is that this is still kind of jumpy. It moves in, stops abruptly, and then just continues moving on. So what we're going to do to smooth out this transition is we're going to highlight all of these keyframes, We're going to right click and we're going to add keyframe interpolation. Oh no, not interpolation. We're going to go down to keyframe assistance. I'm sorry. And we're going to go to easy ease. We're going to add easy ease to all of these keyframes. What easy ease does is it smoothens it down and creates it, gives it a smooth path, if you will. So what we're going to do now is go to the beginning and we are going to hit play. As you can see, the logo moves a little more smoothly now. It's not as jumpy. If we hit undo, all of the easy eases are turned off. And if we hit play, as you can see, it's kind of fast and kind of jumpy still. But once we had added easy ease, I'm sorry, we're going to go up to edit, redo. Oh, we can't redo it. It's all good. Let's highlight them all. Keyframe assistant, easy ease. Now all the easy ease is back on. So now we go to beginning, we hit play. The logo is a lot more smoother now. I think we need to let this play out a little bit longer. That's exactly what we were going for. So let's watch this one more time with all of our settings. We hit play. We have successfully created a path with keyframes for our logo to move. So if I have my logo here and I wanted to move it up or down, and as you can see, the line is not exactly straight. It's not, I can mess up. So what I want to do is I want to hold shift, and what would that do is constrain the line, the movement in a straight line. So if I want to move left or right, I can only move in a straight line. I cannot move diagonal. So I can move it any way I'd like. If I hold shift, it will create a straight line for me to use. But that's not what we want. So let's delete this keyframe and look at our animation that we've created. Hit play, moves in, pauses, we read it, moves out. That is exactly the basics of keyframing, and I really hope that you guys learned a little something today with the basics of keyframing. Until next time, guys. Thank you.